Chapter 29. The project of becoming a missionary to the atheists had instead shown me that the proof I thought I had of my experience was incorrect. Now all I had left was the Bible and faith. I had no logical bridge from atheism to the Bible, no provable miracles, and no guaranteed interactions with God. My relatives remained in church, and I started to lose contact with them. I was immensely relieved, however, when it turned out that my spouse wasn't as on fire as I thought, and was basically in church all this time just to get to me. Unfortunately, the discovery that my faith was baseless came during a time of personal crisis. The spiritual hope and love I had was gone, which amplified everything and drove me to my breaking point. I took inventory of my situation. I lost Jesus, who was the center of my life. There was no hope of heaven or the joy of the Lord. I had no coping skills. Prayer and fasting couldn't help me now. Further, the church's repression of mental health discussions meant I had nowhere to go. Relatives would shame me. I was in too much pain to build up a lifetime of problem-solving skills, find a support network, and rescue myself. I would take my own life. Minutes before a carefully planned suicide attempt, my spouse awoke and unknowingly interrupted me. We talked, and I agreed to postpone my plans by one day. In the morning, my spouse took me to a mental health professional. Sedatives took the edge off the mental pain, and I got into therapy. The church would have happily used my demise to scare members into not leaving. Thankfully, I recovered enough to see the many good things in life I was missing. Years later, I eventually discovered what the church had done to me, and how I was affected. When their words came to mind, I started telling myself, I don't need abusers anymore. I spent over 10 years in the Upci cult, and it took about the same amount of time to address the scars it left on me. However, nothing can replace the friends and family I lost. Eventually, I realized I didn't just have a bad experience in a church. I came out so damaged because I was in a destructive cult. The United Pentecostal cult is alive, well, and growing. It's not just a few bad apples. There are many well-meaning people in the organization that are trapped by their own blindness. Yet even so-called loose churches, and those that aren't openly violent, control members with smoke and mirrors. The organization is the cult, not every individual, but it's the members that are damaged when the dust settles. It is my sincere hope that as many members as possible can be rescued from the United Pentecostal Church. To those that are trapped in the cult, try to learn about mental health techniques for dealing with the emotionally abusive relationship that is the UPCI. Is rescue possible? It is likely a hard road to exit the organization, but it will get harder as time goes on. The time to leave is now. In closing, I leave you with Within Temptations, Our Solemn Hour.